Hello, 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 everybody. We're going to continue with our Luke study. Are you excited? I'm going to at least pretend that you're excited. I'm hearing you in my ears going, "Woo, woo," and mostly giving me thumbs up. Although maybe somebody's out there giving me a thumbs down. I don't know. All right, we're going to start up our Draw Near to God class, and we're going to continue reading in the Gospel of Luke. So here we are. Now, the last story we did in our last class, I think it's important to remember it and to remember what was going on. It is the story where Jesus was transfigured, which means his figure, his appearance was changed, transfigured. Now, usually when I'm drawing Jesus, I put him in like this light blue shirt, right? And he's helping people out, and he's got this light blue shirt on. But I couldn't draw a light blue shirt on Jesus last time. Do you remember why? Can you remember why he's just wearing white?
because 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 light was all over him and he was being exalted by God.
Yep. He was being exalted. He's being glorified, and his clothes were shining bright white, mega, mega white. And so when I drew a picture of him, I couldn't draw blue, even though blue, the light blue, this one right here, this is the color that I use for my drawings. But that's okay. So here he is. He's with Moses and he's with Elijah, and they're talking about his death. And so for his death, I draw the whole mountain, and there's the cross and the tomb. Now, we know that that's not the way it actually was, but I just draw it that way. They're all talking about his death and his burial, and there's a few disciples, and they're mostly sleeping, and they wake up and they go, wow. And so here's the big thing. I imagine that Jesus is in a pretty uplifted mood, maybe in a good mood. He's feeling the glory. He remembers the glow. He remembers all that power that was about him when he was on the mountain. And then his father speaks, "This is my son, my chosen, hear ye him." And so I'm thinking he's coming down from this mountain with power and with feeling, and things are just emotional and strong. And then we're going to figure out what's the first thing that happens. Okay, so he comes down. And it came to pass on the next day that when they were come down from the mountain, a great multitude met him. And behold, a man from the multitude cried, saying, "Master, I beseech thee to look upon my son, for he is my only child. And behold, a spirit takes him. And suddenly he cries out, and it tears him that he foams, and it hardly departs from him, bruising him sorely. And I besought thy disciples to cast it out, and they could not." And Jesus answered and said, "O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and bear with you? Bring hither thy son." And as he was yet coming, the devil dashed him down and tore him grievously. But Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit and healed the boy and gave him back to his father. So Jesus is coming down, and he meets a man. And what does the man need? What does the man want? Can you remember? The man says, "I beseech thee," or "I ask you to look upon my son, my only child." All right, so here's a man. And he's bringing forth his son. Here's the man. He's got this younger boy. Here's the boy. And it says that a spirit takes him. All right. So he's got a demon, he's got a possession, and it cries out and it tears him, and he foams and it bruises him. So this little boy is having lots of troubles, right? I'm going to draw his eyes like he's upset. And I'm going to draw like he's got this spirit and it hurts him. I'm just going to draw like hurt arm, like it's wiggly. Just to say he's like having a hard time. So is the boy a bad boy?
No.
No, the boy is not a bad boy, but does the boy have a bad situation?
Yes.
All right, and so the dad is saying, "Oh, dear Jesus, please help with my boy. Please help him out because this is so hard." Okay, that makes sense. Has Jesus dealt with this kind of thing before? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But then listen to this. The man says, "I besought thy disciples to cast it out, but they could not." So here's the disciples. Could they heal the boy?
No.
No. They probably feel bad about it. How do you think that the dad feels?
Bad.
Yeah. He's despairing. That's a good word for it. I'm gonna have their arms like I don't know what to do. I can't cast it out. And that probably makes them feel bad for the boy. It might make them feel bad for their own ability. And then Jesus speaks in a very interesting way. Jesus says, "O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and bear with you?" I'm going to read that again. What does Jesus say? He says, "O faithless and perverse generation or people, how long will I be with you and bear with you?" What mood does it sound like Jesus is in when he says, "Oh, faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you?"
Angry.
Angry? I think maybe. What other feelings?
Annoyed.
Annoyed? Yeah. If you've got an idea, just go ahead and speak it out. It's okay.
Scary.
Scary? Yeah. Usually when we read about Jesus, he's always so nice and so happy and so comforting. This one, it sounds like he's upset or angry or frustrated or annoyed. And I think that that's really interesting. Is it a sin to get angry or to feel frustrated?
No. No.
No, it's not a sin. Uh, if you get angry or frustrated, is it easy to then sin?
Yes.
You got to watch out. You got to watch out. It's not a sin to feel that way. And so what we have here is Jesus. Jesus, I think he's frustrated. So I'm going to give him a frown and I'm going to give him like this. I don't know if he's sad or angry or what, but this is the first time I've drawn Jesus this way in this study. I think this is interesting. How long am I going to put up with this mess? Maybe he's upset that the disciples couldn't cast him out. Maybe he's upset that this boy is hurting and he's just really sad for the boy. I don't know. But you know another thing? A few minutes ago or a little day ago, he was up on top of the mountain and he was great and things were wonderful. And when he comes down, what does he find? He finds
So wonderful.
Say what? Go ahead.
Not so wonderful thing.
Yeah. He finds not so wonderful things. He finds a terrible demon possession. He finds his disciples couldn't cast it out. I think that it's upsetting. I think that that's upsetting. So here's something to think about. Is Jesus God?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Is Jesus a man?
No. Yes.
He's also a man. Did he have feelings?
Yes. Yeah.
Did he maybe get his feelings hurt or get angry or sad or absolutely. Absolutely. What does he do when he gets upset? Let's see. Let's see. He says, "O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you and bear with you? Bring hither your son." And as he was yet coming, the devil dashed him down and tore him grievously. But Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit and healed the boy and gave him back to his father. Jesus still did the right thing. He healed the boy. He gave the boy back to his father. He rebuked that demon. Jesus is good. Even when he's having a bad day, even when he's upset, he's still being good. And that's really, really important. We got to figure out how to do that ourselves, right? It's easy to be nice to your brother or sister or cousin or your mom and dad when they're giving you giant bowls of ice cream with brownies piled up on high. Oh, this is wonderful. I like this. But it's kind of hard to do it when they throw mud in your ears, in your hair. Like, oh, you don't want to be nice. When you're having a bad day, you don't want to be nice. But we have to anyways. And Jesus does a good job at showing that. Now Jesus is going to deal with some more frustrating situations. So we'll keep reading. And they were all astonished at the majesty of God. But while all were marveling at all these things which he did, so this is Jesus, Jesus said unto the disciples, let these words sink into your ears. The Son of Man shall be delivered up into the hands of men. But they understood not this saying, and it was concealed from them that they should not perceive it. And they were afraid to ask him about this saying. All right, we're going to talk about this. They don't understand it. They don't understand what Jesus says. And here's what Jesus says. Let these words sink into your ears. The Son of Man will be delivered up into the hands of men. All right, so I'm going to draw this on the board. What does it mean? Let this sink into your ears. I think that's the easy part.
Like, you listen to it, but then you also meditate on it.
Ah, yeah. Have you ever heard the phrase, they were talking, it went in one ear and out the other?
No.
You listen to someone like, blah, 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 you
Yes.
Wait, what did you say? Jesus doesn't want it that way. He says, let this sink into your ears. Let it get into your brains and let your brains stew about it and cook it up. Okay, so that's a fun thing to draw. So we have Jesus. And he's speaking. And it's got to get into your ear. I'm drawing a giant ear with a tiny, tiny face. So, and then here's the brains, right? How do you draw brains? Squiggly lines? Does that look like brains? Yeah, that looks like brains. Let this sink into your ears. All right, so what did Jesus say that needed to sink into their ears? Can you remember? Let these words sink into your ears, for the Son of Man shall be delivered up into the hands of men. The Son of Man shall be delivered up into the hands of men. Who's the Son of Man?
That's how Jesus sometimes refers to himself.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Jesus is the
Sorry, go ahead.
Jesus is the Son of Man because Mary and Joseph had him as a baby.
Yep. So Jesus calls himself Son of Man. Technically, every boy is a son from man. But Son of Man is an Old Testament phrase that was used for some different prophets and about a Son of Man who was coming. And Jesus used it for himself. So we're just going to write Son of Man. Son of Man. What does it mean? The Son of Man will be delivered up into the hands of men.
You'll get killed.
That's what is eventually going to mean, that he's going to get killed, right? Did you guys know that that's what happens in Jesus' story, that he gets killed?
Yes.
Did Jesus know?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Did the disciples know?
No.
This is when they find it out. So before he gets killed, it's like he gets arrested. It's like handcuffs, right? They didn't use handcuffs, but you get the idea. And that's like he's getting delivered up. They're going to take him and they're going to lead him away. So that's what I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw his hands. I'm going to draw his hands, and I'll just put like some sort of black rope on it or something, right? And he's getting led off. The Son of Man is going to get delivered up. Does that sound like a nice thing?
Oh,
Is that what you want to sink into your ears?
not really.
No. But he says it anyways. You guys need to think about this. The Son of Man, Jesus, is going to get delivered up into the hands of men. And then, what does it say happened after he said that? It says, they understood not this saying, and it was concealed from them that they not perceive it, and they were afraid to ask him about the saying. How do you think they felt? Go ahead. What do you think?
Confused?
Confused? Yeah. Do you think they felt happy?
No.
No.
Worried?
Worried? Yeah.
Scared? Sad? Sad?
Right? Did they understand it? Oh, Dobbs' hand is up. Go ahead.
Well, they didn't really understand, probably were thinking that no, that'll never happen to you, Jesus. Like, how can that happen to you? You came from God.
Right. That's a confusing idea. I'm not strong enough to tie up a professional wrestler. I'm not strong enough because he'd just get me and go, and I'd be skished, right? How could anybody tie up Jesus's hands? He's God. Oh, another hand raised at the Dobbs house.
I was just wondering because on the new page it had arrows on it. Like, what did that exactly mean?
Okay, so when I'm also doing a podcast about Luke, and I'm reading through, and my podcast is farther ahead, and I use this marker, these little arrow things, to say stop reading there and start reading again there. So those are just little marks that I've put on it to help me remember where I am. See, like this is such a long paragraph, so I broke it up there. But that's a good question. That's not in the text. That was just something I added in. Okay, so they don't understand, and I think they're nervous about this with Jesus. Were they were afraid to ask him a question, right? I wish they would have asked Jesus. I don't know if I would have been brave enough to ask, but I think it'd be good to ask. It's good to ask questions. All right, well, let's keep reading. All right, so I'm going to pick up right where those little arrows were. And there arose reasoning among them. Who's the them? It's the disciples. They were reasoning, I'll get this color. They were reasoning among them, which of them should be the greatest? Which of them should be the greatest? When Jesus saw the reasoning of their hearts, he took a little child and set him by his side and said unto them, whosoever shall receive this little child in my name receives me, and whosoever receives me receives him that sent me. For he that is least among you all shall be great. I'm going to stop there. I'll put my little marks like I did for the other thing.
Why did you read comes or something instead of cometh?
Oh, okay. I've said that before. So this translation that I'm using is a really old-fashioned translation. It's not the King James, but it's like the King James. And so it says cometh. And I think it's very cumbersome to say ye, thee, he, thither, and cometh. So instead of saying cometh, I just say comes. I just change it in my mind. I didn't even notice that it was there, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like I'm reading it in a modern way. That's all. But that's a good catch. Okay, So Jesus says that he's going to get captured. What do they start arguing about, though?
Who's the greatest of us?
Who's the greatest?
None of them are great.
Right. All right. So how do you show people arguing about who's the greatest? Well, if it's a bunch of guys, it's like this. Muscles, right? So we're going to draw their muscles.
I have a women's study and girls' muscles.
I have like 2 muscles and I keep them in my back pocket.
Or maybe fishing skills.
Maybe. So that guy's got big muscles. So this guy's got to have even bigger muscles.
Ah!
Look how great I am. All right. So they're arguing about their gigantic muscles. And they're like, that's not polite. And so with the question they're asking, which one of us is really, really cool? I'm going to put the question mark in there because they're arguing about which one is really cool, which one is really great.
Whoa.
So here's the thing. What had Jesus done in our last story that we read the other day? He went up on a mountain and he was shown to be glorious. And then he says, I'm going to get taken away. And then what do they start doing? They start arguing which one of us is great and cool.
They should be thinking about how Jesus is great and cool.
Because he just said, let this sink into your brain. Let this sink into your ears. And what are they thinking about instead of that? They're thinking about themselves. They're thinking, me, 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 me. Exactly right. Exactly right. All right. So Jesus's answer for them is this idea. But he took a little child. I like this story. He takes a little child. You gotta draw a little child. And said, whosoever shall receive this little child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives him that sent me. So if you welcome this little child, you're actually welcoming Jesus. And if you welcome Jesus, who are you welcoming into your heart?
God.
God. He says, him who sent me. Well, who's the him who sent Jesus? God. This is what we want to do. Do we want to spend our days arguing about who has the biggest muscles and the biggest coolness and who has the coolest TV or the most video games or who can lift a tree with only their ears? I don't know. We want to welcome little ones so that we welcome Jesus so that we are welcomed by God. That's the big idea. Does that make sense? So Jesus said, think about what's going to happen to Jesus. What did they think about instead?
Themselves.
Yep. All right. Then what's the next thing they do? All right. And John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him because he follows not with us. Oh, I said follows. It's followeth. We forbade him because he followeth not with us. But Jesus said, forbid him not, for he that is not against you is for you. So they saw another guy. They saw another guy over here. And he's over here, and he's casting out demons in Jesus' name. Now, is this man a bad man?
No. No.
We don't know anything about him. That's why I'm drawing him in green. We don't know if he's good or bad or anything. But he's just over here, and he's just doing stuff. And how did the apostles treat him?
Wrongly.
Yep. They were folding up their hands in a whaley whaley. They had the tapping of the feet. They're like, no, 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 no. Urgh! And they were throwing out a big X, saying, you need to stop.
They were probably very happy with themselves that they could do that, and they were annoyed that somebody else could do what they could do.
Yes. Yes.
Still thinking about themselves.
Yes. You know what it also sounds like to me? They were kind of acting like the Pharisees. Right? So Jesus says, let this sink into your ears. The Son of Man is going to be delivered up. We're going to argue about who's cool. Oh, we're going to say no to that guy. All right, then what do they do? Then what do they do? Okay. And it came to pass, when the days were well nigh that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem, and sent messengers before his face. And they went, and they entered into a village of the Samaritans to make ready for him. And they did not receive him. So there's a city of Samaritans. Did the Samaritans receive him? Did they welcome Jesus? No, they did not. So I'll do the Samaritans did not receive him. That's not polite, is it? They should welcome Jesus, because his face was as though he were going to Jerusalem. Jesus is only going to stop by in the town. And they say, nope, we don't want you to stay with us. And when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we bid fire come down from heaven and consume them? Wait, what did they want to do?
Kill them.
Yeah. How many people?
Oh,
The whole town?
That's
Okay.
why they're called the Sons of Thunder.
They're called the Sons of Thunder for a good reason. So you got to draw this town. Draw a little wall. And you've got little houses in it, like right this. And what are they asking for? Do you want us to send fireballs from the sky? This is, I mean, I don't want this to happen, but boy, this is a fun thing to draw, right? Oh my goodness. Fire. This is, what? What? They say, do you want us to burn up a whole town? I guess I should draw it there as well, because this is part of this thing. All right, so here's the town. There's the gate. There's the houses inside. And then they were asking a question about fireball. I'll just draw it on fire. All right, so there we got all that. Okay, so Jesus tells them, let this sink into your ears. The Son of Man will be delivered up into the hands of men. And instead, they think about being cool, telling other people to stop, and burning up a whole town. Do you see anything wrong with this?
I think so.
yes, I see something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever known kids that were selfish? Kind of want their own way? And maybe the parent is saying, hey, think about this. You know, we're getting ready to go on a trip. We're going to go on a trip to Disneyland. And we're going to go there and you're going to eat ice cream all day long. You're going to have fun in Disneyland. But today we got to get the car ready and cleaned out. So I can't give you ice cream today. But we're going to clean out the car. And tomorrow we'll do a 5-minute drive to Disneyland and you'll eat ice cream all day long. Sounds pretty good. And then the kid says, no, I want ice cream right now. That's kind of what this reminds me of. They just want their own way and their own thinking. What does Jesus say? Lord, wilt thou that we bid fire come down from heaven and consume them? But he turned and rebuked them. What does it mean he rebuked them?
Corrected?
Corrected, yeah. Do you think he did it very softly?
No.
No, if they're talking about burning up a city, I don't think he was saying, well, now, John, I don't know if that's just the right way of talking. I don't think that's. No, he'd say, stop it. That's bad. That's what they need to hear. And is Jesus saying this to a little 3-year-old boy or 11-year-old girl?
Oh, well, who knows how old man?
They were adults. Do adults need to hear stop it sometimes, do you think?
Yes.
They need Jesus. They need Jesus to tell them to stop it. I need Jesus to tell me to stop it sometimes. All right. He rebuked them, and they went to another village. We're going to do one quick last bit. No, we're going to stop it there because the last bit's going to take too long. So I want you to think about this, guys. In the last story, Jesus was glorious and changed, and he's talking with Moses and Elijah. He knows about his death. He's probably scared about his death, but he knows about it, and he's glorious, and things are great. And then he comes down from the mountain, and things are kind of a mess. And he's a little bit upset. And then he tells his disciples, hey, guys, think about this. Bad things are going to happen to me. Not me, Jesus, right? He says, think about this. Bad things are going to happen to me. And is Jesus saying, so we better get some guns and some swords and we're going to fight back?
Nope.
No. He just says, bad things are going to happen. Are bad things going to happen to you and me, do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so we better know that. Bad things are going to happen. So think about it. Is that what they think about? They argue about who's cool. They try to take control over other people here. And they think, let's just punish a bunch of people that aren't nice to us. They're thinking about cool. They're thinking about control. They're thinking about punishment. Now, the Bible doesn't use the word cool, right? It uses things like glory, but I'm saying cool because that's kind of the way we talk. Who in the Bible is cool or glory?
Jesus.
Jesus, God. Yeah. Who in the Bible has control?
God.
God. Who in the Bible is about the punishment and judgment?
God.
God. Is it our job to think about that?
No.
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 All these things that they're thinking about, that's God's job. That's God's job. Should we try to do God's job for him?
No.
Oh.
No. Why?
God's very
How
capable.
mess up.
God's
Sort of
capable.
acting like we're more capable than God.
Yeah.
It's not true.
God's very capable. We'll mess it up. That's true. Do any of you guys want to make your mom's dinner that she's cooking for dinner tonight?
Yeah. Yeah. My mom's breakfast because she's sick.
Do you think you could make dinner for your mom for the whole month?
Oh.
Have you ever read children's books about when the kids try to make dinner or breakfast and it's like the kitchen explodes, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe we'll help our mom, but we'll leave that's her job and we'll let her do her job because we're just not good enough at it. We need to let God do his job. Oh, I see a hand was raised. Joanna and Lydia, did you have a comment?
Yeah. And then also God made us, so if we step up and try to do what our ruler does, like if someone, like a employee tries to do what the boss's job is, that's not not.
It just doesn't work right, does it? It just doesn't work right. Do any of you guys have a dog? Or have you taken a dog on a walk before?
We used to have one.
Okay.
Nice.
When you're walking a dog and you're holding the leash, who's supposed to be in charge? You or the dog?
You.
You.
Yeah.
Do you want to let the dog pull you everywhere?
Oh.
No. No. Do you know what my dog likes to do? He goes, I'm going to go across the street right now. And there's a big truck coming. Now, I love my dog. He's a sweet dog, but he's kind of dumb when it comes to trucks. So I'm not going to trust him. I need to control him. And what about the apostles? Were they very smart?
No.
Not yet.
No.
They needed to grow in their wisdom. They needed to grow in their wisdom. All right. Well, I'm going to end it with that. I had a lot of fun with you guys. And I will talk with you later. See ya.